By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Approaches me, a vision far too lovely to define. Hey, yeah.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, and that is Andy playing the jams right there. What's up? What's with the quiet storm, Andy?
Do you even know what this song is?
I want to say it's Kenny Lattimore. Is it Kenny Lattimore?
I mean, you warned, but that's not him.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Sexaholic?
No.
Dated Halle Berry?
Oh, it's Eric Benet.
Eric Benet.
Okay. They have a similar.
And the title of the song is Femininity.
Femininity. Oh, why didn't I pick that up? Andy, shout out to Andy. All right, Femininity. We are talking femininity today. This is why he goes there. Listen, it is Tuesday. We are just getting started in the week, but oh boys, it's a good week. I'm really excited about all the things coming up. I'm still, riding the wave of joy from my kids graduating from high school, as you all know. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a very, very good time. We do have a couple of updates that I want to get to before we get to this exciting topic that we were going to talk about yesterday. We just ran out of time. So today is a perfect opportunity with the perfect contributor, part 2, that I'm looking forward to.
That's why you need hour 2.
All right, we're going to push for hour 2. We're going to push for it, huh? We're going to push for 2. You guys say it all the time. Inside the Raw Squad, they say it all the time. All right, let's go ahead and get to a couple of these updates. Now, Rihanna is finally ready. She had been pressed for years. All her fans were like, when are you going to give us new music? She says, I am ready to get back in the studio. Actually, she had been in the studio, but life had been lifing for her. Life was changing. She had another baby. She is now the mother of 2. And if you can relate to this at all, sometimes, for me, for instance, I started writing my 3rd book. And I stopped and I started a few times because things change. Your views change. Things in your life may change. And similarly, that's what Rihanna is going through. She says she is finally ready to get back in the studio for her fans. As you all know, if you don't know, here's this information. She just started Fenty Hair. So she is already on her billionaire status. She's doing a lot of things in terms of makeup, in terms of clothing and all that. But now she's getting into hair. And now she was like, I'm going to give y'all some music. So for those Rihanna fans, I'm sure you are happy to hear that. Sexy Red. The young lady who, Billboard had given her the top numbers 2 spot as the female rappers of today. Well, anyway, this young lady was seen in a brawl inside the Newark airport. And I was so disheartened when I saw that. I saw a bunch of black people. She picked up poles and it was too much. It was wild. It was crazy. It was so unnecessary. People don't know, especially young people. It's like, do you guys understand that you can have a conversation? Even if you disagree, you can walk away from a disagreement. But to turn it into a brawl in the middle of the airport, and she was later arrested for disorderly conduct. And, it made me wonder, because yesterday I reported on Krishan Rock, and she was arrested yesterday when she went to court to support her baby daddy Blueface, right? And she had her baby with her, and the baby was taken away. Now, I'm sure the baby has since found, I'm hoping the baby has found a safe place to land with family or whatever. But it kind of reminds me, what's up with these young parents who are acting like they have nothing to live for? These stars, they're young stars. They have money, they have the fame, they have what you think that they are looking for. You think that once you attain it, you're good. You can chill, you can relax. But they are still acting like they are in the hood. And it's just like, what's up? You got the answer, Andy?
They're still kids themselves.
They are.
100%.
Kids having kids. I mean, that's nothing new, but it's really sad. So Sexy Red is also a mother. She recently had a kid. So she has an infant at home, and she's out here having a brawl, getting arrested. Sean Rock, they both, I'm sure, have since been released. But, not fun. It's not fun to look at. Definitely not fun to report. I just hope that they get their act together, and I'm sure they will. With age, with wisdom, we tend to get our act together. All right, this is the one I couldn't wait to bring, though. Stephen A. Smith he's standing down. Stephen A. Smith is standing down. As you know, we had this conversation yesterday. Stephen A. Smith had the gall to talk about Will Smith and bring back up the Chris Rock slap. And everybody came at his throat. They came at his throat, but specifically Charlie Mack. Charlie Mack, whom is known for being really, really close to Will Smith. He was Will Smith's very first bodyguard when Will came out as a rap artist back in the 80s. Charlie Mack has been around for a long time. He personally called Stephen A. Smith and said, listen, it's not fair. He said he kind of came at him heavy, too. He said, that's not fair. Where's the grace? Does Will, he made one mistake in the public eye, one mistake, and but he's done all this good, which is what we were talking about yesterday. He had done so much good, and now you're holding this one mistake over his head. Is he not supposed to make movies anymore? Is he not supposed to make money for his family? And what about everybody else who's attached to this movie? That one comment, again, especially as a reporter, as someone who is heavily in the limelight, somebody who has a big, big platform, you need to be careful with the words that you use. You need to be careful with what you say, because it does resonate with some people and it could have a harming effect.
Yeah.
You don't agree?
Like, I agree with you a little bit, but I also feel like, once again, there's a responsibility on the consumer, too. You know what I mean? Like, you could listen to what he has to say and just call BS and just keep it pushing. Like, if Stephen A. Smith has that much influence on your life, that right there is a problem, too. Mm-hmm. So I hear you on the platform and all that, but just considering a lot of the backlash that he's been receiving, I mean, shout out to the world. You know what I'm saying? We know BS when we hear or when we see it.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. But I will say this, though, before we move on with the Rob Report. I will say that, unfortunately, many people do listen to a lot of these people in the media, and they take what they say as Bible, right? Think about if Charlamagne says something, whether it's political, whether it's something for the culture, people just are going to take it simply based on the fact that it's Charlamagne, because also as consumers, we put a certain amount of trust in what we put a certain amount of trust. If you've been watching somebody for quite some time and you typically have bought into to their concepts, their views, you typically have bought into it, and they just come out of nowhere and say something, more than likely it sort of resonates with you. You disagree with that too?
No, I mean, I hear you a little bit, but I think maybe more so the youth, more so than adults. Mm-hmm. I can hear that with the youngsters, you know what I'm saying? Because they're still developing in their minds. But the adults?
I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the Raw Report.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Okay, so this is part 2. We did not really even get into this discussion. Eboni K. Williams, she says that she is made to walk in her masculinity, and that a lot of these women nowadays are men in skirts. She says they're men in skirts, but they don't want to be. She's saying they don't want to be. She doesn't necessarily want to be aggressive and masculine, walking in her masculinity, but she has been made to, because society has made her that way. Do we agree with this? In part, I mean, there are some things that are valid, right? There are some things that we can look out through history and say, okay, these things have happened, so it made women step up to the plate. But I don't know. There might be another way to look at this as well. We're going to talk to our contributor on the other side and try to break it all down and see if we could get any answers and walk away with something. On the other side, you are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl BB, and you're listening to me on the Raw Report on KBLA.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at the Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are back inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. We're getting ready to have this conversation. The Raw Report is going in on Eboni K. Williams. Now, I'm not going to say I'm against her, but I do want to have this conversation about women in skirts. And I'll tell you straight up right now, I have a problem with some of the things that I see in terms of masculinity. I do. Let's have this conversation right now. With us for part 2 of this conversation, she's back again. Whitley Yates on the line with us. Hello to you, Whitley.
Hello to the Raw Report. I'm excited for this part 2 conversation.
Yes, I am as well. And I'm so appreciative that you are available with your busy schedule getting ready for this Juneteenth keynote speech. But you made time for us at the Raw Report. So definitely happy to have you back on. And I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into this conversation, I saw something that was pretty funny and pretty interesting all around. I have to ask you about it. There is a tattoo artist, a black tattoo artist, who is charging non-black people more money on Juneteenth than the black people. I mean, Is he out of his mind, or is he? Do you kind of be like, okay, yeah, I get it, or is he just outright wrong for that?
This is tough. Like, no, I think it's completely wrong. I understand what he's doing.
It is
but
wrong.
I always have to flip the context and said, if they did that to the businesses in which they own, how would we feel?
Absolutely.
I
know.
So that gives me pause. But I totally understand. It's his version of reparations.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about that one. This guy, I guess he's bold enough to go ahead and do it and put it out there. He actually put out a statement that that's exactly what he was doing. But anyway, we will go ahead and ask our Raw Squad soon. But let's go ahead and get into this Eboni K. Williams conversation. We'll set this conversation up with the clip that we took from D.L. Hughley, as a matter of fact. He's the one who posted it. And Eboni K. goes on about why she feels she's been made to walk in her masculinity. Let's take a listen to it.
We have a lot of young ladies out here that are men in skirts. I look as feminine as possible because I am trying to overcompensate. I'll own it. I'll be vulnerable. I am trying to visually overcompensate for what I know is a default masculine posture that I walk through the world with every day. Of course I do. You see my taxes. No, I mean, but for real, you know, I got a payroll, you know, and so when you are leading in this way, when you are providing not just for yourself, but for those around you, your whole community, how are you not masculine in your energy, right?
Yeah.
But to Melissa's point, most of the women I know, especially the Black women, we would love if we didn't have to. Woo. What people don't realize. What'd you say?
I want to be soft and pink.
Correct. Yeah. What most people don't realize is that most masculine women are masculine by mandate, not by choice.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We're masculine because we have been made to be. Yeah. We're masculine because if I don't go qualify for this mortgage, if I don't put these kids in the best schools, if I don't really make sure that my neighborhood is safe for me and my children to walk down, it won't be safe.
As a Black woman, as a woman in business who I would consider a leader in doing things in your own community and elsewhere. Look, we even talked about the fact that you are giving a keynote speech. You do walk around, Whitley, I'm talking about you if you haven't picked it up yet. You do walk around with a knowingness and owning your business and things like that. Do you relate to what Eboni K. Williams is saying as far as, you know, she put herself on blast saying she walks around and overcompensates with her femininity on the outside because she has to walk in her masculinity. Do you identify with that?
No, I don't identify with anything that Eboni K. Williams said at all.
Okay.
Tell
me your point.
She's conflating. I think she's conflating success with masculinity, and those two things are not mutually exclusive. Meaning that, and she's also conflating how much money she makes with masculinity, which are all, you know, misogynistic, patriarchal things. It's not about how much money you make, and it's not about you having a payroll and all these people, and it's not about you having a successful career. The masculinity comes in how you're engaging with people of the opposite sex. It's how you treat them. It's when you use your wallet to mollywop a man upside his head because he didn't take you to the restaurant that you wanted or that you so desire. It's really how you engage personally. And the reason she doesn't feel protected may be because she could be emasculating men with her masculine personality.
That's from Andy. I know women who, quite the opposite. There are some ways in which she's talking, like even how there's, I guess I would even call it aggression a little bit in her voice, how she talks a lot. Okay, a lot of aggression, Andy says. I called it a little bit, but Andy says a lot. And as a man, I'm going to respect that because, you know, he can identify masculinity or aggression when he sees it. But you can hear that in her tone when she comes across. But I know, like, there's another example of Amanda Seales. We were having this conversation recently because Amanda weaponizes her, I think a lot of men feel and have stated that she weaponizes her intelligence against men, right? She could weaponize some of maybe her success as well, like her finances too. But that's usually what she does. That's that whole like men are saying, I don't want to go home and battle with my woman. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be up against that type of masculinity. So that's an example, I guess I would say, of someone who is walking around sort of weaponizing that. You're saying that that Eboni K. Williams is weaponizing her status or her finances as a way of sort of beating men, mollywopping men, as you said, upside the head. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And you got to think, people who've experienced her, from whether it be on one of her shows, a podcast, her commentary, or Real Housewives of New York, she was engaged and had a whole fiance. He was a Wahite fiance, but she had a fiance who was very wealthy, multi-millionaire, and then the engagement broke off during COVID because he wanted to quarantine with his children. And she felt like he should have chose to quarantine with her, as opposed to you and him and them kids quarantining together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, So her views, specifically on how she engages with men and in relationships, from what has been placed out there, just seems very one-sided, very heavy-handed, and it seems to be all about her. And I'm not saying that Black women don't sometimes feel unprotected, but what I will say is, in my experience, is usually masculine women are very derogatory and disrespectful towards Black men because they utilize what they have attained externally in order to pump themselves up and basically put down Black men verbally.
You're getting a lot of love from the men in this studio, I will say. Andy, go ahead, jump on the mic.
I love you, Whitley. It does, like, if I had to like dig a little deeper, it sounds like there's some resentment there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious to know what her relationship was with her father, even if there was any. But it definitely sounds like there's some resentment, and just even with her speaking, she sounds like she's getting ready to buck already. Like just relax.
And she's and by the way, she's sitting there with a panel of other women.
Yeah. So why are you over here all like?
There's a trend here. Think about the women who I'm getting ready to name, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because I do want to get to this caller. But let's list out Eboni K. Williams, Amanda Seales, and Candace Owens, who all those three women have something in common. Whereas Amanda Seales, I know she has dated Black men in her past, but it seems as though maybe there are issues with Black men. They have issues. Something is going on there. There might be some sort of thread that we have to maybe unveil. But let's go ahead and get to this caller from JW from South Central LA. Hello to you, JW.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I had to call in because, you know what, I always make this comment how people buy into society. And she admitted that it's an external thing that, motivates and inspired her to be that way. And, unfortunately, we all are conditioned and trained because we live in a world system. And there are factors in reality where you might have to protect yourself or act more stronger or whatever, fearless, because, you might feel intimidated by a male or whatever the situation may be. But when you have the mentality that you're better than another person, that's because you bought into European perspective. And you don't know what true worth and true value is. You think accomplishments or material things is real worth, but real worth is a human being with intelligence that has critical thinking, and have the ability to, they have compassion and all the above and sensitivity and empathy and character and principles and morals and standards. And that's well rounded, flexibility, and this because they're human beings, period. They're part of humanity that they have work because God created human beings, and so God created something of value that they're unique.
Okay.
So therefore, that's the main problem right there. She's being influenced by outside influence instead of being internal and trying to find who she really is. And she probably also feels, I'll say this real quick too, she probably also feels I'm protected because she knows she can't really protect herself as a female and her gender based on her weight and size and the lack of strength because she's not a man. But that's just a side issue, but so I don't want to just elaborate on that,
Sure.
But
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your comment, JW. Thank you so much. I give a little less credence to that last point about not being able to protect yourself as a smaller, more. There are plenty of women who don't necessarily need to walk in masculinity in order to feel like they have to protect themselves just because they're smaller. I do want to get to this conversation. We're going to continue, obviously, this conversation on the other side. But Whitley, I really want to talk about the fact that there could be some valid points. We have to look at history. What has happened in history? What did happen to the men? And we're talking about the Black community. What happened to our men that made women feel like they had to step forward? They had to step up. And should that still come across today? Because men are here. Black men are here. Black fathers are here. They're providing. They're taking care of their families. All of that stuff. So how do we balance it out? How do we figure out how to balance out the masculine and the feminine energy that we have? I've got some examples, too. We're going to get to all of that on the other side. Right now, though, we've got news, traffic, and sports. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on The Rob Report.
What's up, people? It's your boy Harmony H. Money Samuels, and I'm here on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580. What's up?
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Free medication abortions and vasectomies are available outside the Democratic National Convention. Planned Parenthood has parked a bus near the convention site in Chicago where anyone can get the free services. The organization is a strong supporter of presidential hopeful Kamala Harris and wants to make the abortion issue front and center. Also outside the event is a giant inflatable IUD set up by another abortion rights group. Maryland Governor Wes Moore is expected to address the crowd during this week's Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to be officially nominated as the party's presidential candidate, and there will be a number of Maryland Democrats attending along with the Black governor. Attorney General Anthony Brown and Comptroller Brooke Learman will be in attendance, along with U.S. Senate candidate Angela Alsobrooks and Senators Ben Cardin and Chris Van Hollen. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
For HBCU alumni around the country, here's a few celebrated matchups that are kicking off the college football season. We have the dates and locations for you in case you and fellow alumni want to make travel plans to support your school. August 24th, the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Atlanta. Florida A&M versus Norfolk State, 7:30 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time. September 1st, the Orange Blossom Classic in Miami. North Carolina Central versus Alabama State, 3 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time. September 14th, the Toyota HBCU New York Classic, Howard University versus Morehouse, 3 p.m. kickoff at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Also September 14th, the Boombox Classic in Jackson, Mississippi, Southern University versus Jackson State, 6 p.m. kickoff Central Time. Stay with us here on KBLA for all the latest sports info on your favorite HBCU schools around the country. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertari Plessy. Nefertari felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities and opportunities. To attend one of their fun events, make a donation, or get more information, or if you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys. Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is...
grab the keys?
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
I ain't friendly. I don't with y'all at all. Try to take who it ain't enough for y'all. So phony got me looking at him sideways. It'll never be the same mother. The old days. Pretty in the face, but my attitude stank. Either way, this still going to the bank. I'm up now, I give a what you think. I'm up now, I give a what you think.
Woo! You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Is that JT? Woo! Yes, JT from the City Girls. She hit the point with that one. Listen, if you are just joining us on the Raw Report, welcome into this conversation we are having with our wonderful contributor, whom the men in this studio love because she's speaking straight facts. We got Whitley Yates on the line, and we are talking about Eboni K. Williams, who says that, listen, she feels like she is a man in a skirt. She's naming other women, saying that she feels like she sees a lot of women who are walking around in skirts, but they're really men. And that's because she says she has to walk in her femininity, or excuse me, she has to present feminine and overcompensate in her femininity because she has to walk around in her masculine energy. But we're just trying to break down what that means and why and where that even stems from. I do believe the point that what we all know, the historic facts of a lot of black men had not been present. A lot of men were, for one reason or another, we had to go through the whole crack era. We had to, a lot of men were jailed, still jailed, by the way. And not being able to provide, not being able to lead and be in the household to raise their family. So women had to step up to the plate. A lot of women had to do whatever they had to do to take care of their children and provide for their life. Mm-hmm. And that whole mentality has stuck with us. You'll see it today. You'll see it. And even though I do believe that there's a fine line of women who want to be that. women who want to be leaders and bosses and want to be out there innovating and, you know, all of those things. There's a lot of ambitious women, black women, who've been around since the 40s, even before, who have created a lot of things. They've been founders, created all of those things. So this is something that I believe is partly innate in us. Just the whole ambition, but not necessarily masculinity. I think masculinity has been born from this, from that whole time that we're talking about where men weren't present. But my problem, Whitley, is the women who present aggressive and masculine. There's a lot of women who present aggressive, and that is a complete turnoff. We're having this conversation in the studio during this break, and we're talking about how unattractive that is, because that's not necessarily who we were born to be. Innately, we are nurturers. We are soft and feminine. But walking around with this masculinity, I see it in so much of this generation. You know, these girls, they're like, get a dude for what I could get, you know, for what I don't need a man. I could have a man if I want. I could have 5 men if I want. And I get him for whatever, you know, all the stuff. Is that an issue with you? Is that an issue with what you see in this newest generation, Whitley?
Yes, I definitely think that the Tatiana ideology is ruining Gen Z and beyond, for sure. I think that the masculinity, and I don't want to call Tatiana's necessarily masculine, because then that would in turn basically say that men are inherently just trying to use women up for what they can, hit them up, get some money. What she say? You sleep with them and get some money, get some head and bread, and then leave. I don't remember all of the words because that's not the type of music I listen to. But I think Andy...
Clearly not. No, not at all.
I think Andy was onto something when he talked about the relationships that a lot of these women have with their fathers are indicative of their behavior. Now, Andy doesn't know this because he clearly doesn't watch Real Housewives of New York. But Eboni never met or grew up with her father for like 37 years of her life. She didn't even know who he was, no name, no anything. And so she was on a journey to find him on the show. She eventually finds him and is now in like 2021, 2022, started to build a relationship with him. So you are correct that she grew up her whole life without having connectivity to the black man who helped to create her. And so I think her perspective that you're hearing in her voice is coming from that experience. Then let's jump to the Tatianas, the kind of drill rap and all in that era. A lot of those young women definitely didn't grow up with any men in their lives either. And so their first relationships with men were usually not ones that were caring and nurturing if they didn't have strong father figures in their home.
You know, we're having this conversation about what's appealing and how much of a turnoff that really is. And we kind of labeled, you know, Eboni K. Williams right now is pregnant through IVF. I don't know her situation. I actually didn't even watch that show. I don't know anything about her as a housewife. Furthermore, I don't know anything about her relationships. What I do know is that what had been in question many times is whether she was dating a black man, whether she was dating white men, and why. I do know also that we've had conversations about what she requires. I don't know if you remember, she had a conversation with Iyanla Vanzant. Iyanla asked her if she would date a bus driver. And Eboni says if he owned the bus, you know, and she got a lot of pushback for that. And so we're just talking about what that looks like, who you're driving away. And it seems as though with this masculinity, you drive away more men. And that's actually something that I was saying before we went to break. Amanda K. Seals is the same thing. She's receiving a lot of that backlash because they consider you weaponizing anything as a woman, anything other than your femininity, as something that they don't like or that they don't want. And it pushes these men away. And a lot of these women are notoriously known for being single and notoriously known for trying to get a man, but they're pushing the men away. Is it true in your experience that you get more you get in the door and you sort of last longer using your feminine, soft, as they call it, the soft era energy, than you would masculine energy.
As a formerly masculine lady, recovering masculine presenting woman.
What? Yes, we
yes,
got. Well, hold on.
I
You
was
can't go. You cannot just slide over that. We got to know more because I cannot believe it, Whitley. You don't come across that way. So I'll please, by all means, you have the floor. Let us know.
Deliverance is a process. I definitely was very masculine presenting in high school, in college. Now, mind you, I grew up in an orphanage. And didn't have strong relationships with Black men. I was very aggressive and I was mean. And I remember, I'm adopted, so let me throw that in there as well. I remember speaking to my mom and I was like, I'm grown now. I have a daughter and I want to teach her these ways. And I remember looking my mom dead in my face and said, why didn't you tell me I was masculine? She said, I thought you knew. I was scared of you too. I said, what?
Wow.
What?
How did you discover that about yourself?
Because I had a significant other tell me that he felt emasculated, that I didn't build him up, that he said, sometimes when you talk to me, it makes me feel like I am nothing. I said, oh, no, I speak life. That couldn't be me. No, but it was. And I had to replay some of the things that I was saying and how I was saying it. And I was like, oh, my goodness, I need to get this under control. I need to be a nurturer. I need to learn how to nurture men with my words. I need to understand that the things that I say, specifically me being a Black woman, can cut a lot deeper than I think. Because every time that he would complain, I would just say that he was emotional. I'm like, you're just too emotional. You're so fragile for that. You're too fragile.
Got it.
No. It's that my mouth and my tongue was slick.
Yeah.
And no man wants to feel disrespected. No man wants to be with a woman who they feel doesn't respect them or will emasculate them when they don't get what they want. And so I went on a whole journey. I was reading books about femininity. I was going to my mom. She's been married like 40-some years. I was like, okay, so how do I like tap into this softness? And she said, first, let's start with plants. Let me show you how to nurture and grow plants and speak life into plants. So it honestly started with plants.
Whoa.
And I went from nurturing plants and speaking life into my plants to then watching what I say, watching how I engage, right? I used to be like someone who was like, I don't need anybody to do anything for me because look at where I've gotten in life doing everything for myself. And so she said, you need to be in a season of receiving because you have been shaped by your circumstances and it's hardened you. So you need to be in a season of receiving. People will be like, oh, I'll pay for this. No, I don't need you to do anything.
Wow.
People like, no, you don't turn down. He said, you don't turn down anything but your collar. I said, oh, yes, ma'am. Okay, let's work on it. I don't turn down anything but my collar. Yes. Lunch? Absolutely. I'd love to. How nice of you. What should I wear? You want to take the bill? I don't even dig in my purse anymore. I don't even dig in my purse. I'm
blown away.
I stand at the door until it opens. I stand at the door. I just stand there. I sit in the car. I sit in the car until they go and open the door. I just sit. They look at me. I look at them. Listen, I went on a whole journey.
How long did it take you to dismantle that thought process, the ideology of masculinity, once you became aware of it?
I would say to be in constant practice, it took me about 2 years. And it's still a journey because I have to remember that when I get my heart broken or when I'm disappointed that I can't cut deep with my work. Like my goal is to not make them feel how I'm feeling. So I have to reframe like, man, they must be feeling terrible inside to be able to be treating people this way. Like they must really not like themselves or be dealing with something super deep to be out presenting this version of themselves to the world. And so I read the book, The Four Agreements, so y'all need to go read that one.
It's a good one.
So I had to really understand, like, whatever it is that they're doing is not a direct reflection of me.
Yes.
I can only be responsible for myself.
Yep.
And so, yes, as a former masculine lady, I will tell y'all, it's your mouth. It's your words. You got to fix it.
I'm blown away. Andy.
I'm blown away as well. But outside of your mouth, what other characteristics did you present masculine?
Hold on. Okay, so let's put a pin in that. We have to keep you around because, Whitley, you done started something, and we got to finish it on the other side. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
For Commonwealth McCann, this is Chevy Radio. Title of the spot is Retail Radio August 2024 Multi-Line Before and After 1.9% APR 60-inch. ISCI code is GWMRO28400. This is a 60 seconds, English, stereo, full mix.
With the incredibly spacious 3-row Chevy Traverse, you can change
Let's just meet at the concert.
into
Why don't I pick all you guys up on the way?
the advanced safety-engineered Chevy Blazer EV lets you turn. You think we should turn back? Into
Full steam ahead.
And with the affordable Equinox EV,
Keep an eye out for the next Charger, kids.
becomes
Get comfortable, kids. We'll be home in 4 hours.
for all kinds of summer adventures. Chevy's got you. Well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR on all 2024 Silverado 1500 Blazer EV, Equinox, Trailblazer, Blazer, and Colorado models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. 1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 13.5%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 9/3/24.
Hey LA, today I'm here to talk to you about Grid Alternatives, which is a nonprofit in LA that focuses on renewable energy. We serve communities who have been left out of the renewable energy sector. We offer paid job training, and in 13 weeks, you can become a solar installer. 80% of our graduates get hired into the industry, and once you're hired in the industry, you stop at a high, medium income. That could be $20 an hour or more. 80% of our graduates get hired into the industry. Call today so you don't be left out at 323-861 888-888-0105 or gridalternatives.org, gridalternatives.org.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Rob Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I'm so happy to be in conversation with our contributor, Whitley Yates, on the line with us, who just shared something so deep. I felt like I just learned a whole lot about you in a very short period of time, Whitley, and I appreciate your just being transparent with us. On the other side, Andy was asking the question of the characteristics outside. Andy, you can rephrase that if you like, just your own question in your own way.
First off, Whitley, once again, man, I appreciate you, your vulnerability and your transparency. That was real. But like, we throw these words masculine and feminine, and, you kind of specified your mouth was probably one of the characteristics of you being masculine. Was there any other characteristics, like, maybe your appearance or any other stuff that you deemed was masculine presenting?
I would not say that my appearance per se was masculine presenting. However, I do dress differently. Now, I was not in a good place. I was not happy with myself. I was over 300 plus pounds, diagnosed with diabetes. Now I'm about 125 pounds. So there's a lot that went into the life changes for me. But I would say it was less about my appearance. It was more about the inside. And it was almost like I was sweet until I felt like I was either being embarrassed, or if I was being played, or if I felt disrespected. And I could not regulate a response to feeling disrespected, even if it was unintentional or they said something that was just slight. And to me, it felt like disrespect, and I would say something very detrimental back, and I would go really low. And I would also say that I wasn't just combative with my words. I was combative with my body language, with my hands, with my eyes, the way that I would roll my neck and my head. I'm still working on those things, by the way. Deliverance is a process.
Yes, it is.
When I get upset, my hands start going, my neck starts going. And I actually realized it one day when my young daughter imitated me. And so she imitated something that I did. I said, why did you say it like that? And then she's like, that's how you say it. And I was like, oh my goodness, is that how I say it?
Wow.
Is that how I say it? I'm still working on that too, by the way.
And that's okay. And that is okay. I guess the thing that blows me away is you certainly don't present that way right now. I mean, as you said, it took you 2 years to sort of dismantle that how you were and your isms and even your mannerisms physically and all of that. You can directly relate to a lot of these women who we talked about. I mentioned Candace Owens. I mentioned, those women come across as masculine according to a lot of the men who are, who watch them and they say things online. But you can specifically right now, we're talking about Eboni K. Williams. You directly relate to that, her presenting masculine in certain ways, in addition to even her background. What I have to understand is, we have been talking about grace, and I talk about extending grace to people all the time. And as much as I don't like watching it seems to come a lot more from younger women these days, the masculine presenting. So even the things that you mentioned, the ways in which they talk and clapping their hands and rolling of the necks, like all of that stuff is very, very masculine to me. And I don't like that at all. I do have to understand that it comes from a particular place. It comes from, you happen to be blessed, Whitley, in the sense that you were made aware of it and you aligned with it, saying, oh, I am that way and I want to make some changes with it. A lot of these young ladies and older women too, I'm not discounting that, but a lot of them can't even see the error in their ways. So that, unfortunately, it seems as though they're going to continue to be this way. And that is going to present its own set of problems. Like, yes, you may be successful. You may make a lot of money. But when it comes to the thing that we all talk about, finding a mate, that's a big, big thing. And a lot of them will say, well, I haven't had any success in that. And that's when they turn it into, I don't need a man. But that's not true. You actually want a man.
Real bad. They want him real bad. That's how I know. Like, I used to be an Ebony K. That's how I know, like, this is internal, baby girl. Like, what you're sitting up here saying and the things and your perception of men and them not protecting you really just goes deeper. And it's not a generalization of who they are, but who was not there for you, who didn't care for you, who didn't take care of you. So you don't even identify or recognize when a man is good for you, when he is protecting you, because you didn't have those bonds built in the way that you were supposed to as a child. And so here you are, a 37-year-old woman attempting to heal these childhood wounds that you have, and then overgeneralizing men because your father wasn't there. So that's how I know, because I was you, girl. She just needs a better therapist and a little bit more self-awareness. Yeah. And I'm not saying that men are absolved and that they don't sometimes do things.
Sure.
But in this case, to make those types of overgeneralizations, specifically about Black men, who I personally feel like I feel more comfortable when I'm out and about by myself and I see a Black man, because I'm like, okay, well, he got me.
Right.
If something goes down, you got me, right?
That's right.
Hey,
that's right.
That's why we do the nod. We be on the sidewalk, we see one another, like, we do the nod, like, anything goes down, okay.
Absolutely.
We got a code.
Which, by the way, which in this poll that I just put up on YouTube, the question really is, do women find more success with femininity? And 89% of you say yes. I feel like even if you have some masculinity that you need to express, okay, fine, but let it hide under your femininity. Let your feminine ways get you in the door. You can really, how they say, you get more bees with honey than you do vinegar. It really is the truth, so I take my hat off to you. I commend you so much for being transparent, sharing that with us. That's a mic drop right there. Whitley, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Let everybody know real quick where they can find you.
Okay, so for everyone looking for that feminine woman that I was talking about, you can find her at Whitley J. Yates on Instagram and Whitley J. Yates on Twitter. I am also no longer encumbered, so if you are attempting to shoot your shot, please come correct.
Oh, there we go. Come on now. Come on, shoot your shot. Men, we appreciate you so much. I look forward to being back in conversation with you very, very soon, Whitley. Thank you.
All righty, bye.
All right, well, that's our show for today, you guys. That was an awesome show. I feel like we could go on and on about that one again. We may bring it back. We'll see. Thank you guys so much. Ross Squad, you guys always show up in the building. Thank you for your engagement. And to Whitley Yates, you already know who's up next. It's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Remember, today and every day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Free medication abortions and vasectomies are available outside the Democratic National Convention. Planned Parenthood has parked a bus near the convention site in Chicago where anyone can get the free services. The organization is a strong supporter of presidential hopeful Kamala Harris and wants to make the abortion issue front and center. Also outside the event is a giant inflatable IUD set up by another abortion rights group. Maryland Governor Wes Moore is expected to address the crowd during this week's Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to be officially nominated as the party's presidential candidate, and there will be a number of Maryland Democrats attending along with the black governor. Attorney General Anthony Brown and Controller Brooke Learman will be in attendance, along with U.S. Senate candidate Angela Alsobrooks and Senators Ben Cardin and Chris Van Hollen. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Welcome to Chicago. A new chapter in Black political history will soon be written in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention. KBLA Talk 1580 will be the only talk station in LA with 5 shows broadcasting live from the DNC in Chicago, August 19th through the 23rd. Dominique DePrima, Nicolai Corte, Ariva Martin, Adrian Shropshire, and Tavis Smiley will all be in Chicago bringing the convention to you like no other talk station in Southern California for the critical issues and conversations that matter most to you. Keep it locked to KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got Kamala covered.
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Your home with the eyes in the front and the back of the head to chase away evil forces. Remove EB, give Ida instead. So long as you bring your offerings. He's got the ashe I can't deny. I am a witness, I'll testify. This song, my oriki, my sacrifice to the one who can do and undo.
Why do we view relationships as temporary? I think in a world so saturated with instantaneous gratification through social media or through a number of different things, we've grown so used to the idea that things are temporary instead of looking for the growth and potential with a person for long periods of time. Whether that's with our friends or whether that's with our romantic partners, we don't take the long view into account a lot of the times. We want what makes us feel good here and now, right? We want to feel nice, we want to feel good, but we don't look, how is this going to affect me later in life? You know, where's this